Joe, when you went to Hawaii, Wick had arranged for you to actually meet up with some of the Navy SEALs at Pearl Harbor. How did this come about?
I've always had a passion for the military. Always had a respect for them. Always had a respect for their mental toughness and their sacrifice and how they handle adversity. And so Wick and I were talking about it, and he mentioned he had a resource. And to me, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to just spend a day with them, understand how they work individually, but how they work as a team.
What was that overall day like? What did you see?
Top day I've had. Next to like my marriage, getting this job, and my kids. I just saw, first of all, an undying humility. To understanding who they are and to understanding what makes a team work. Undying mental toughness, the ability to put themselves in adverse situations and work together is amazing. And then just leadership. They have great leadership, great accountability, and I'm a fan of studying other teams and other departments about how we can become better in our organization, and I think they're like top notch.
With that, I know it's very different, but in terms of some of the lessons that you were maybe able to take from that and now apply to coaching an NBA team with the leadership, like you said, and the teamwork, how have you tried to instill that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the first step is like the standard that they set every day and how they work towards that. I think one of the most interesting things is, they call these things no-fail missions. And so, like, they go into these missions and they can't, what is failure to them? And so they have to handle adversity, they have to handle successes, they have to handle failure the same individually and as a unit. And so it's amazing just listening to them study successes and failures and post-op meetings and how they handle this mission, how did they get better? And then just the attention to detail. Like, you can't skip a detail because it's the difference between life and death in their lives. And so I'm sensitive to that, and I try to, learn from that.
Does that kind of also put things into perspective for you, just on a human level, too, of seeing what they're doing?
Yeah. Two things. One, it's a perspective to what they're doing, but one, it's a perspective to how powerful the human mind and the human body is. When you commit to it, when you involve yourself around like-minded people, when you're committed to something, the human mind and the body are capable of a lot, and they put their mind and bodies on the line every day.
Is this something that you're going to do again with the Navy SEALs, and maybe have you given thought to bringing in some of the Celtics players too to see this?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, they're always evolving as well, and so it's a passion of mine because of, like I said, the military, the leadership, the mental toughness. So I think it's important to learn from that, and so always going to try to seek them out. My neighbor was a Navy SEAL, and so during the pandemic we got to spend a lot of time together, just understanding what makes him tick, what makes a unit tick, what was good, what wasn't good about it, and so he was able to give me great perspective.
I know you said you've been interested in this when you were young. Where did this interest spark? What fueled it?
I think, just like I said, the two things are just the mental toughness and how to control your emotions in adverse situations. They're in much adverse and dangerous situations than they are, but they have to have high emotional intelligence, and they have to have high execution, like they have to execute. And so those two things just interest me a lot, is how do they execute in adverse situations, and how do they grow their emotional intelligence.
Great. Joe, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.